Well, hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the New Construction Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Kristi Allen, and I am thrilled to introduce my two guests today. So first, we have a returning guest, Kristi Allen. Kristi is a home builder, aka the real world construction Barbie, and she's the owner of Woodcastle Homes. And we also have Mollie Elkman. Mollie is the president and owner of Group 2 Advertising, and they specialize in home builder marketing. So welcome to the show, ladies. I'm so excited to have you on.
We're so happy to be here. It's great to see you.
Yes.
Yes, Mollie, I can't believe that we haven't had you on the show until now. So
I know, it's crazy because, I've been following obviously since the beginning and I'm a big fan. So I'm happy to be joining you, especially to talk about this project.
Yes. So Kristi, when you and I had our last podcast, which was over 2 years ago now, I think, a long time ago, you talked about your desire to build a home one day that was completely built by all-female crew. And I thought, oh, what a great idea. And obviously at the time you talked about some challenges, like not being able to find a plumber who's a female ever. And you didn't know if that was going to be a possibility. And then fast forward 2 years later, you guys are wrapping up the house that she built.
Yeah.
So, for people who've been living under a rock and not following, Kristi, would you mind giving us a little bit of an overview for what this project is all about?
Absolutely, yeah. So when we spoke about it a couple of years ago, we were just starting our local professional women building group. So it's a council of the HBA here. And we were just getting going and we were brainstorming ideas and we're like, that would be amazing. Let's do a women built home. And that is exactly what we were calling it. We were calling it the women built home. It was like a really uninspired. Luckily, Mollie came along and we roped her into it, and she came up with the idea of the house that she built, along with some of her amazing women that work on her company. So anyways, so it became the house that she built, and we decided to put it in our local parade of homes. And we started looking for land and women and sort of built this council to try and support this project. And we have just finished up. In fact, right now there's a photographer there doing the final video walkthrough, and our local parade of homes starts next week, and we're ready to go. We're so excited.
Yay!
I see a victory dance, Kristi, in front of the home on social media.
Yeah, shockingly, there was like 20 women that we invited to be a part of that and wanted to come out, and apparently not that many women like to dance in front of houses on social media, but I was like so excited. It was like the only thing I could do to like express my joy. So
yes, I've been loving watching your TikTok videos, especially during quarantine with you and your beautiful daughters. I was like, my goodness, this is like one thing. If I could dance, I would like, I don't know, I would like literally pay like $10,000 to be able to dance.
Anyone can dance.
I am like Elaine from
I can dance.
Where I cannot move. I'm the most.
You don't have to do it in front of people. Just dancing by yourself is good enough. It's so fun.
So to your many talents, Kristi, you're also a phenomenal dancer. So hats off for you. So you guys did it. You've built a house, and it truly is the house that she built. So can you talk to us about who was involved in this project? And obviously you guys got so much publicity from this. I think that's probably the best thing that could have came out of this is all the people talking about this now, so that we can share with our daughters and say, hey, look, this is the house that she built. So can you talk to us about the women that were involved in this project, and how did you get this group together?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, it started with just our local PWB chapter and our council. And those are the women that sort of were the leaders for the program. So there's 3 of us that are general contractors, other women who own their own companies or who work in different aspects of construction, and we each sort of shared those leadership roles. Because this was a purely volunteer project, so none of us got paid. Most of us put in lots of money as far as donations and time and actually just money to try and make this happen. And so we had to really share that responsibility amongst all of us because it was basically a full-time job for a lot of us. So those women on my council are amazing. We had Sandy Larson, who's a general contractor, Stephanie Sharp, who's a general contractor, and so many other women from the council that all just sort of came together. And then we used our resources to just try and gather as many women as we could. We actually had women come from across the country to participate, which was amazing. In fact, one of our plumbers, Kelly Ireland, she came from Pennsylvania, from out your way, Molly, and flew all the way out to come work on the rough plumbing, which was awesome. And we also found amazing women here locally that were able to participate, which was really cool because having worked in this industry for so long and grown up in it, I only knew personally, maybe I can think of probably about 3 women in construction out of the hundreds of people that I had worked with. And so to kind of see these women coming out of the shadows, coming out of like these hidden places where they've all been doing their jobs, they're just not visibly, to be able to spotlight them and tell their stories and hopefully inspire other women and young girls to like look at those examples and say, that looks amazing. You know, I want to do that when I grow up, or I want to do that now. We have one woman on our council, Natalie, who's phenomenal. She's worked in design for a long time and done some amazing work. And she was working with an exterior company. And I remember one day she was out on site with me during the sub-rough plumbing with one of our other plumbers, Emily. And we were kind of assisting her and trenching and just kind of working, you know, literally in the trenches, getting stuff done. And she was talking about how much she was enjoying working on site, and it actually inspired her. She made a job change. She's now a project manager for a local builder, Wardley Homes, and does construction management for them. So even just like that one woman, it changed her career, it changed her life. So it's been so rewarding.
Yeah, so I'm sure I probably don't have to ask why you did this. So obviously it wasn't for monetary gain. You know, if anything, this cost money out of pocket for you. So can you talk to us like why, you know, what was the idea behind building the house that she built? Like, why did you want to do this?
For me, it was really just the idea of, I've shared the story a little bit before, but my daughter, Elodie, when I started my company, she would come along with me. And one day she had said to me, like, Mom, when I grow up, when will I be old enough for you to teach me to be a builder? Basically, when can I learn how to be a builder? And I was like, you know, I was so excited about it. But it really struck home to me because I had grown up in the industry, but it hadn't occurred to me that I would love working on site, that I'd love being a general contractor until I kind of stumbled into it. So even working in construction all that time, it never occurred to me. And I think a lot of that is I just hadn't seen any examples of women doing that job. And no one told me I couldn't. No one would have, you know, discouraged me had I said, I want to start working on site. But it just didn't occur to me that I would love it. And so I think for her, being able to see me and how much I loved it made her want to do it. So then the idea becomes, let's show everyone, let's show all women, all girls, all people, how amazing this industry is and all the different facets, all the different jobs, all the different niches you can find in the construction industry, and just show people this is amazing and we want you to join us, basically.
Yeah, so speaking of telling everyone about this, that's where obviously Mollie comes in. So Mollie, you've taken this idea, what they were doing, and you created this beautiful brand for it that not only this is captivating to watch the whole process, but it's also now looks really pretty from the brand point perspective. So can you talk to us a little bit about, you know, what was the inspiration there, and you know, why did you want to take this on?
Yeah, for sure. So when Kristi first mentioned this project to me, I immediately said, I am in, I want to be a part of this. I think just the idea of it and the challenge of it was so exciting to me. And I had no idea that this project was going to actually change my life. So what has happened throughout this is, yes, we were involved in the beginning with the branding, but our part of it is just one little part of it. There are so many women who have been a part of this project, who are in Utah, who are doing marketing, and other people have been a part of marketing this project. For me, I love to tell stories. So being able to help tell the story of this project, whether it was through connecting with NAHB and workforce development and, different avenues, press releases, of course, the children's book, which we can talk about in a few minutes. But for me, just being able to use my resources to help tell the story is why I love marketing. So that part of it was just so much fun for me. I personally I also grew up around building my entire life, and I never in my life thought about that it would be fun to actually build a home. And Kristi and I have become great friends over the years, and I follow her, of course, on social media. And when I see the pictures of her on site, it is eye-opening to think that, like, I've never thought about what that would be like as a woman, and that being an opportunity that I would even pursue. So to me, I'm so inspired by that. I've asked Kristi, actually, we haven't done it yet, but I've asked her if I can shadow her at some point and just like see the different trades and what goes into building a home, because it's fascinating to me. So it was a very easy yes. When Kristi asks you to be involved in something, the answer is always yes, no matter what it is.
Look out, we're all Mollie, the project manager, coming your way. Look out. This is awesome. But I mean, that's exactly it, right? For me, I mean, I didn't grow up around home building. I joined home building in 2013 as a salesperson, and never in a million years I imagined or pictured myself or another woman in the role of a project manager, general contractor, a builder. Like, never in my wildest dreams. And I think that is the core of this project, is what you guys are trying to change, is perception, because perceptions are everything. I forgot who told me this story, but it was one of the guests on my podcast, and that story stuck to me. She's a female builder, and she was a single mom, and she had a young son. And so for his school, like a career day or whatever, she came in and she was telling everyone what she does for a living and how she builds homes. And at the end, the teacher said, hey, when you grow up, are you going to be a home builder like your mom? And he said, no, that's woman's work. So it like drives that point that it's all about perceptions, right? And what we perceive as maybe an acceptable career path, or even a possibility of a career path for girls, for young girls, is very different. And I think the biggest thing that you guys are doing here is you're changing that perspective, especially with the crisis that we're facing with labor shortages. Many people choose to go the traditional route of going to college and then not realizing that they're going to be taking on thousands and thousands of dollars of debt, and then not even have a guarantee that they're going to come out of college making a good living, that they can actually repay that debt. So I think that trades is certainly a great opportunity, great alternative, not just for girls, but also obviously boys in general. It's a great career path that we need to change people's perspective of the association with the trades. And I think that is a big challenge that we face, and you guys are certainly making a big impact there. So Mollie, I'm glad you mentioned the book. So you of course they didn't just build a house. Come on, people, like, right? It would be like, okay, great, we built this house that all female crew built. No, we didn't stop there. So Mollie, tell us about the book that you're working on now.
Yeah, so part of the project, we're thinking about different ways to market it, and I actually started a poem we named it The House That She Built, based on the nursery rhyme, The House That Jack Built, which is a poem that builds progressively. So I thought it would be really cool to write a poem for the grand opening for the women involved in the project to read as a part of the grand opening. And as I was putting it together, I was like, this can't be done once this home sells, we have to continue to tell this story. So I reached out to the team and I was like, let's turn this into a children's book and let's make this a story that can continue on. And Anya, what you just said really is important, because this is not just a story about gender. It really is a story about diversity and inclusion, workforce development. I mean, it really is a much deeper story. And, you know, all the hours and work that the team in Utah has put into this home, this story can't end. I mean, they have put so much into it. And so to be able to take this and take the mission of the original project and now make it something that can actually really make a difference in the industry by living on is really perfect with the original mission of the project itself. So that's the piece where I have really dedicated most of my time is creating the children's book and getting it going and making sure that we are able to continue the story after the parade, which is next week.
Hey, I can't believe it's coming so soon, right? I mean, I'm sure for you, Kristi, it's like, thank goodness, right? We got it done on time.
A little bit of relief, a little bit of like, hey, I can like hang out with my kids again.
Yeah.
But you know, it's been so amazing though. And actually, Mollie, I was just thinking when you were talking about the book, I remember exactly where I was when you called me and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing a children's book. What do you think? I was in the basement of the house that she built in the cold storage, knocking down supports from our porch cap. And I remember thinking like, this is the most amazing idea ever. Like I was so excited about it. And then to see it like come to fruition, when you sent me the proof for the book, I just like cried and cried because it's so, have you seen it, Anya? It's so beautiful.
Yes, of course, anything Mollie and Georgia design is going to be beautiful, right? So you wouldn't expect anything less. Yeah, I think that's a genius idea that you guys are continuing this story and that it's going to continue a life of its own. I mean, I'm excited to read this book to my own little Argentina, you know, and to show her that, hey, this is a possibility. And I think for us as parents, especially like we're in the industry, right? And you guys even said like you both grew up in the industry. And even though you grew up in the industry, you didn't think potentially that this was going to be the career path for you, right? So think about just, you know, your average parents, right? The lawyers, the doctors, that they want their kids to grow up and have that traditional career path that, you know, whatever they want to be. And never in a million years, I think that crosses their mind that trades could be an opportunity and that it pays really well. And you don't necessarily have to have all that debt coming out. And you can have your own business, a successful business, being in the trades. And I think it starts with early education. It's breaking down those barriers, breaking down the stereotypes that it's not Jack the builder, it's she the builder. Right? It's a big part of it. And I think this work that you guys are doing is so important. Now, Kristi, I know that it wasn't an easy project for you to finish. So I would like to talk about some of the challenges that you have encountered other than finding a female plumber from Pennsylvania. Yeah. So thinking about from start to finish, from design to completion, like what were the biggest challenges that came your way? And was it because you couldn't find the, the female who could do certain job? Or were there some other challenges that you encountered during this process?
There were a lot of challenges. And honestly, I think the period that we're in construction right now was a big piece of that. I don't think we were alone as builders in having challenges this year. I mean, this year has been hard for any builder because of material availability, labor availability. We had amazing sponsorships and donations, but we had a lot of sponsorships and donations that ended up saying to us, you know, we're really sorry, we don't even have the material to give to our paying customers. And there goes that donation. And we're scrambling and we've got female painters coming the next day and we've got no paint. You know what I mean? And we're like looking and looking and looking. And we actually got I think for paint, we ended up getting Benjamin Moore that did a donation, as well as a local paint. We kind of like had to cobble things together. So it was challenging in that for a normal builder project, as a general contractor, I can rely on my trades who, you know, we purchase the material, they bring their supplies, they bring everything to the table. Whereas here, where we're working with volunteers, we're flying women out. We need to find them tools. We need to find material. We need to just like, and make that all come together. It was much more complex than a normal home that I built. In fact, I built a couple homes at the same time, much larger, and that took, you know, months and months less to build, just because of the nature of this project was a lot more challenging. We had challenges with some trades, specifically framing was really difficult, because we could find a couple of women framers, but it takes more than a crew of 2 to frame this size of a house in any reasonable amount of time, and we were fighting to get done before the winter hit. So we ended up we brought in all kinds of volunteers. I mean, myself and many other women on the council spent all of our weekends framing for all of October and November. Basically, I learned a ton. Things, you know, I know in theory, I know what framing looks like and what to look for and what to check and the engineering and all of that to look for, but I don't know necessarily how to go about cutting and, you know, like physically doing it, right? There's a difference between being a general contractor that supervises framers and checks work versus someone that actually does it. And I learned a ton of skills, and I grew to appreciate my trades so much more. Like I've always known that the people that work for me are amazing, but I've come to see like the artistic piece to it, and just the skill and the knowledge that they have. And it's really, it really blew me away. Just all the things, the details that even myself as a general contractor never really had to worry about, because I had awesome trades that just took care of those details. So that was amazing. It was challenging. It was challenging building as a council, right? Because we had a lot of, we had these amazing team of designers, 5 women basically who worked on the design, but coordinating that and making sure that everyone's designs worked together. And we did have Kimberly Parker who worked making sure everything worked together. But I mean, it's definitely challenging building a project as a council versus building as an individual for a client, right? So that was cool. Cool and hard. But I mean, these women, we ended up spending, you know, I mean, most of our days together, I feel like, for the past few months. So it's been awesome to have all those friendships and people that I've been able to learn from. One of the general contractors, Sandy, she's actually started her own company 20 years ago as a young mom, kind of similar to what I had done. And so it was really cool for me to meet someone else local who kind of has walked this path that I'm trying to walk and has learned how to balance being a mom and being a builder. And she does it flawlessly. So it was really cool for me to be able to make those connections. And we're trying to share that as best we can on social media. And I love that we're able to tell some of those stories through the book. Because I really just wish everybody could meet these incredible women face to face and know like their stories, because they're phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. So what has the reaction has been from general public so far? What have people been saying to you?
So supportive, so excited. I've been blown away by the reactions. I've got my house that she built shirt on today, and I'll wear it out. You know, I've been on the job site, and I'll go even like to pick my daughter up from tumbling, and I'll have women stop me and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm following that project. Like, tell me what you do for it. Like, tell me about it." And they're really excited about it. And we've had like local youth groups, like women who do like mentoring for younger girls that want to bring them out to the house. And I've been able to do like tours and talk to these girls. And they're always so excited about, you know, seeing the house and walking through it and the stories. We did an amazing event where we invited girls from just the local neighborhoods, from the local area, to come out, and they each got to sign a brick and then put it on we have like a playhouse in the basement that's got a brick facade. So they got to learn how to butter their brick and how to apply it. And that was so fun and we did a little tour of the house. I don't know, it's just a hands-on moment for the girls to be able to like participate in construction. I loved it.
Yeah, so that's awesome that you guys are inspiring young women in the process. the best outcome possible for this. So let me ask you about the design of the house. So you know how when you go through the airport and the bathroom and it's like the stall opens the wrong way and you're like, clearly this was not female designed, right? So who designed the house, and did you guys make any specific design choices that is obviously inspired by a female, as thinking, how do you live in the home?
Yeah, absolutely. I really actually love the way that the house ended up getting designed. Originally, we wanted to just do a fully custom house. We were looking everywhere for land, trying to find a piece of land. Because again, we're a new council. It's not like we have $200,000 to go buy a piece of land, right? And we had this builder, Oakwood Homes, who was excited about their project, and they do large plan developments. So smaller home sites, typically sort of starter entry-level type homes, which I mean, now is like $550,000 is a starter home, but still, that's kind of the type of project they have. And they said, hey, we will set aside a lot for you. They carry the cost of the lot. So basically we'll pay them back after we close on the home, but we didn't have to get a loan for it. We didn't have to carry that cost at all, which was amazing. But then the sort of caveat is we're building in this neighborhood. It's a planned development. All the houses are four different floor plans, with couple different exterior choices. And they didn't want us to be this, not sore thumb, because it's a gorgeous house, but not awkwardly different than everything else, right? Mm-hmm. So what we did was we actually took one of their plans, and we had Stephanie Thatcher, who's actually, I've worked with on other projects before. She's wildly talented and local to Utah. And she basically redesigned the entire house. The exterior walls stayed in the same spot, and nothing else was the same, essentially. So it's really cool. And the original plan by Oakwood is a great plan. It's not that it's not a great plan, but when you walk through that, and then you walk through this one that was specifically designed, trying to think about how would this, sort of potentially like maybe a young family, kind of thinking, what would a woman want? She was living in this home. It is very different. And upstairs, there's this really large open loft space. It's got skylights. It's got all this light. It's got this built-in desk area for these kids to be able to do their schooling. It's got a gorgeous primary suite at the front of the house instead of at the back of the house, but we could expand the bathroom. We did dual closets. We did a large shower that you can walk into that also has the tub in there, so you can just spray everything down. It's easy to clean, and it looks amazing. Has that sort of spa look to it. In the basement, we really went all out because in Utah, we get stuck in our houses a lot in the winter. It's freezing. And so we did a playhouse in the basement. We did monkey bars, a reading nook kind of underneath the playhouse, and really just tried to make it a place that you could have, interact with your kids and have them burn off energy and have some fun when you can't be outside because it's freezing cold. So, it's not like it's like a completely different crazy design that you'd never see anywhere else, right? It's not, unbelievably different. It's just the details, like all the small details that you can tell Stephanie, as well as the designers, were really thinking about how someone would use this house in this space. So
yeah, and moms, right? By mom, designed by mom, for mom. So I'm sure, Mollie, you've had your fair share of homeschooling too, and so Kristi, you guys are both moms. So we know the challenges of keeping them entertained, burn out that energy, right? Send them off somewhere. So yeah. So Kristi, for people who are not familiar with the whole concept of Parade of Homes, can you tell us a little bit about what is that and how does that work?
Yeah. So we have several local Parade of Homes. They're put on in Utah. I don't know if this is universal, but in Utah, it's done by our home builders associations. So we've got our Utah Valley Home Builders Association, and builders can enter homes in the parade. There's a little bit of a selection process, an application process. And basically it's to showcase the amazing talents of the builders that we have locally. We sell tickets, and then the public can come through, and we have, I'd have to go get the local numbers, but tens of thousands of people that walk through locally through these homes. And then because of COVID last year, we actually had to make a change and go to a virtual experience. And so this year we're doing both, which I think is amazing because people can come and walk through the homes, but then we're also doing full virtual tours. That's what I mentioned before is being filmed right now at our house. So that people who aren't local, or maybe people who still aren't comfortable going out, who aren't vaccinated or don't want to be out with, in the public, can still tour the homes. So there's both options. So anybody nationwide can tour the house that she built.
That's amazing. And how would somebody buy this house? So what happens now? It's up for sale. Who's going to be the lucky homeowner? Are you going to have a lottery? I mean,
honestly, our market locally is so crazy. It essentially is a bidding war right now. So we haven't listed it yet. We'll list it during the parade. We are hoping to be able to make a good profit. I mean, we've had so many things donated that we will, but all of the proceeds are going to be used for charity. So the 60% of the profits are going to be used towards scholarships for women in construction. So that's going to be trade programs, that's going to be construction management programs, certifications, whatever it may be. Our local PWB council will manage that scholarship and will take applications for women who have seen these stories maybe and are saying, hey, I would, love to try that. I need more education or I need more skills. So we want to support women in that. In fact, we've had several women who have worked on the house who have said, like, someone who helped with the HVAC, she said, there are certifications I want to get, but I'm a mom, I don't have the extra funds to go put myself through this extra schooling. And we're like, we can't wait for you to apply. Like, please apply for our scholarship program. So some of the women actually who worked on the house, I think, will also be able to receive some of those scholarships, which is really awesome because they were volunteering their time. And I think originally we had hoped to make maybe $100,000, which is a ton of money. I think we're going to probably end up making more like $400,000.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It's unbelievable. We had amazing support of women volunteering and of companies stepping up to sponsor. Builders first supplied all of our lumber. And honestly, when prices started going up, I thought they're going to pull it. Like it was a smaller ask and now it's essentially double that is what we were asking for. And they said, we'll give you whatever you need. And they supported us and many other companies did. So yeah, so I think we're going to be able to do something really cool with that. Another 20% of it is going to go towards local charities. So we have several actually that we had just found one that we were going to donate to, but because people have been so generous, I think we're going to be able to support several local women's charities. One in particular that supports women who have been victims of domestic violence and are trying to get back on their feet. And so we're really hoping to be able to partner with them and support that program, but then also promote, I guess, our scholarship opportunities. So if there are women who have found themselves in a position now where they need to support their families, we can say, hey, have you considered construction trades? We would love to sponsor you, to give you a scholarship to get some of that training that you need. So I think that will be really cool. And hopefully we can work hand in hand with those programs. So, yeah. And then the final percentage of it will just go towards education, sort of spreading this message and maybe seed money for a new project. We're not committed.
You heard it first. Hopefully it's not going to be another 2 years.
Yeah.
So obviously the house is built now. So maybe the materials, the donations is not as important, but again, you guys are going to continue this legacy and build upon it. And so the donations are still going to be very much needed and appreciated. So Kristi, what's the best place to have somebody donate?
Yeah, on our website, you can get all the information for that. It's utahpwb.com. Now I'm second guessing that. Yeah, that's right, Mollie. Yeah, and designed by Meredith Albert did our website for us, which was awesome. Again, another amazing woman in the industry that's just kind of like stepped up to support. But yeah, so through there you can find out more information. We did set up a 501c3 so that donations are tax deductible. So we're happy to take anyone who wants to support the program, support the scholarships. We're grateful for all the donations already, though.
Amazing. And Mollie, what about the book? So when is the book going to be published? Is it out? Where can we find the book?
Yeah, so it's actually at the printer right now. The launch date is September 14th, which is a symbolic date of when this project, the actual build, started, and also Professional Women in Building Week. So one of the things that, there are so many organizations, as Kristi was mentioning, that are really behind this cause of growing the trades. So you have these trade schools all over the country. You have all these programs through NAHB. So we're really excited to have the book be, start at a younger age and start these conversations between parents and children, or teachers and children, at that really early childhood education age, to set up the success of all these future programs as they get older. So the book will be available September 14th. It is available for pre-sale. You can also access it on the PWB website. And there will be a lot of events coming around the country, book tour events, and at the International Builder Show, there will be quite a bit. We're going to have building blocks and puzzles and a whole set of different things. And we're really working with NAHB Builder Books is the publisher, and the proceeds for all the materials, the book and the merchandise, are going to be to support workforce development and professional women in building, both through NAHB. So it's really a continuation of the mission. It is to give back to the industry and to grow the industry and make the industry better. And so that's another way that people can support is through buying the book and the merchandise.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Well, you guys are obviously doing so much on your part to bring the awareness. So if you could say something to a listener of the podcast that maybe, obviously they're in the industry already, what could they do? How can they get involved? What do you see as the biggest opportunity for us to keep moving this message forward?
Yeah, so my big thing would be to share your story. So, just knowing Kristi is so inspiring, and seeing what she does and seeing what these women do. So everyone who has success in our industry should share their story, because someone just needs to see one person who they connect with and they can say, oh my goodness, that's something I could do too. So that would be the big thing, is share your story and share what you do with the world, because your story is important.
I love that. I agree. I think also something that I've been learning a lot on this project is that parents make a huge difference. Obviously parents are great and make a huge difference, but in supporting their kids in these kind of roles, like the attitude that a parent has about construction and trades and jobs is going to affect your kids unbelievably. And even I know of some people in construction that are still, they're not cheerleading it, right? We need to be cheerleading the amazing opportunities available. I think of one of the women I met who was one of the most remarkable women from this project. Her name's Adela. She came to the United States from Mexico at age 19. And she is deaf. So she was dealing with, second language. She also jokes, the hardest thing for her was switching from the metric system. You think about it, you've grown up with the metric system in construction, you're constantly using measurements, right? So that she was dealing with all these challenges, and she was attending school and she was studying anthropology, and her dad, up here in Utah, and her dad was in Vegas, and he had a job in construction. And she'd go down and visit him, she'd be homesick, she'd go see her dad. And she said every time she went to see him, he would drag her out on one of his jobs. He'd show her what he was doing, and he would say, you should be in construction. He said, you will love it. You will learn to love it. It will be so good for you, and you will be good for the industry, because the industry needs women like you. And he just kept driving home this message. And she honestly wasn't that interested at first. And she said she decided, okay, I'm just gonna try it. So she switched to construction management, and she found out he was right. She loves it. She loves it. And she worked for an exterior company for a while, and she recently started her own, she's a general contractor, started her own company during the pandemic. She's a single mom. She's this incredible woman, and I think she wouldn't be where she is if her dad hadn't continued to reinforce for her how amazing construction is. And so I think that's just our jobs. We're lucky enough to work in the industry. We know how amazing it is, and we need to make sure that we're sharing that, because it's a trade, it's an industry that needs it right now.
Yes. Now, I don't know if this podcast is going to come out early enough to get people involved, but if somebody wants to come out for the Parade of Homes and actually take a trip to Utah, can you tell us all the details?
Yes. So it's June 3rd to the 19th. And if you come out, you can come hang out with me and Mollie. Mollie's coming out to see it. But it's Utah Valley Parade is what you can look up. It's on Instagram. It's UV Parade. It's linked to on our website, Utah PWB. But we'd love to have you come out and tour the homes. And besides our home, there are some other phenomenally beautiful homes. People literally come from across the country to see the work that's being done here. So everyone should come on out. Or if you can't, then you can get online and you can buy a virtual ticket and tour the homes virtually. So lots of choices.
And buy the house.
And buy the house. I wish I could buy the house. It's gorgeous. I
definitely can't wait to see it. So I'm gonna try to make it myself. So we'll have a party over there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Well, ladies, thank you so very much for being on the show today. I really appreciate all the work that the two of you are doing for our industry, and you are true trailblazers, and I cannot wait to see what you guys are going to be up to next. So I will talk to you all very soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.